be a fantastic election. In Kumaru, the NPP went with articulators of rice, gari, beans. They went with GTP cloth, high targets. They went with excavators, bulldozers to clear roads, to do all kinds of things, only to increase their votes by 300. Now imagine, when you have a 7,000 deficit to clear, and you are going with this accoutrement, and the people, when they see this accoutrement on their roads, start hooting at the poor workers who have to earn their daily by day, driving excavators and bulldozers just to do roads. But the message that it sends out is very clear, that the Assin North people are not Kuberu, who will go one way. These people are decent, intelligent people who can make decisions. They can think for themselves, they can make decisions, and they don't need these things to change their minds, because they have already made up their minds that it is Jechukwesin. In 2020, you ask, what was the secret that made Jechukwesin win? Jechukwesin had a group called Friends of Jechukwesin. Let me say a good morning to them. In Assin North, made up of all kinds of youth. NPP, NDC, CPP, because they all saw something in the man Jechukwesin. When they were both giving their analysis on the results, they told you that Jechukwesin got more votes than even Akufo-Addo, which meant that people in NPP voted for Jechukwesin. And today when you go on the grounds, they will still tell you that they will still vote for Jechukwesin. So we are just waiting for June 27th so that we can let the people of Assin North send a message loud and clear that no amount of injustice that was perpetrated against this individual has been able to change the minds of the constituents of Assin North, and that they are still bent on keeping this man as their MP. His achievements are all over the district for people to see. In the area of roads reshaping, before Akufo-Addo sent excavators and Bopomaja to Assin North, Jechukwesin, when they denied him a seat in the main chamber of parliament, was already sending out excavators to do reshaping in Assin North of roads. He has constructed bridges. He donated canoe to the river community to aid in river transport. Has Akufo-Addo and the NPP even attempted to even put a platform on the river to help the people transport themselves across the river? They haven't. When you look at how much donations, cement and roofing sheets, this man has donated to rehabilitate schools in Assin North, over 2,000. And here I'm talking about packets of roofing sheets, not individual roofing sheets. Senna, he supplied BECU students and SSCU students with mathematical sets, over 2,000 pieces since he became MP. Whenever they are going to sit for examination, he makes sure that he supplies them for them to go and sit for examination. He organizes mock exams ahead of their final exams to prepare the students for the examinations. He organizes extra classes when they go on vacation. Those who go and study apprenticeship and vocational training, he's donated so many sewing machines and hairdresser, what they call hair dryers. When you go to the community and the indigenes themselves are speaking, it's not like Kumaru, where people are crying that their MP did nothing for them, and they still wait and wait for NPP. These ones give you evidence of what Jechukwesin has done for them. And when you come to even the achievement of the NDC in the constituency, there's this road that the NPP, because they are the ones constructing it now, are all over the place. Oh, after all, we've done the Pra-Sufosu road, so the people will vote for us. But the people of Assin, Assin North, Assin Central, Assin South, all the way to Yamransa, know that particular road we are talking about is a JICA funded project that started as far back as President North. The Bekwai-Yamransa Road, which was divided into 3 lots. The first lot was the Bekwai-Assin Road, which ended at the Assin Bridge, which President Mahama went to commission in 2014. By the time they went to commission that road, the drawings for the Praso Fosu section was also ready. They had finished stakeholder consultations and everything. And the money was already in government's coffers. Because there's $100 million facility that was taken by the Mahama administration for the road all the way to Yamransa. That funding had already been secured. So the only thing the NPP came to do was to come and continue the road that the NDC has started. So since they finished this road, it's left with the fixing street lights, doing some landscaping in the middle, whether they'll pave it or they'll plant some flowers. Since the place is very vegetative, you should start planting flowers and trees because the whole place is bare. When we get to the Assin Fosu Midwifery College, that's where this lot 2 ends. We are now looking forward, since I'm looking for the NDC, the Central Region, and since we've already brought in the money, Akufo-Addo's lazy Akufo-Addo and his government should now start from Assin Fosu Training College and go and finish at Yamransa. Because as far as we are concerned, the design is finished. All you have to do is to go and share to your contractor friends. But the road it is NDC's project. It is not NPP project. So when the NPP communicators understand those who are outside the constituency and the region, when they see pictures and then they conclude, oh, the NPP has constructed the road, slow down. It is not your road. Everybody in Assin knows the origins of that road. It is not yours. Don't claim credit. You can go and claim credit for your AstroTurf. That's not bad. At least some people like football. Aside that, your achievement in Assin was so negligible. It is just this by-election that you are now attempting to go and claim something that you can stand on. But you see, there's this thing that Abraham Lincoln said: they can fool some of the people some of the time. They can't fool all the people all the time. And that is so evident in Assin North. So, Sana, in conclusion, we are positive that this seat is not leaving the NDC. The NPP, if they are looking for a +1 to help their cause in Parliament, it is not Assin North. They should look for another constituency somewhere else. In fact, the state of Ghana today, even if we tell all NDC MPs not to go to Parliament again and go and campaign in their constituencies and leave the whole Ghana and Parliament for the NPP side, there's nothing they can do to change the destiny of this nation. They have already destroyed everything. There's this proverb we say in Fanti. You just have to wait for 2024 to give the final verdict to Akufo-Addo, the NPP government, and whichever presidential candidates they put forward. Because as far as we are concerned, none of their candidates is credible enough to even lead this nation come 2024. I'm done.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Gabriela. Gabriela Tete is the Central Regional Communications Officer of the National Democratic Congress. Let me do a few messages on Facebook and about 2 on the WhatsApp. This one, Enochu says, I don't understand why the courts have not come out to debunk this issue of the MP being jailed. In any case, the NDC knows what's best and right. Now the question guy is the candidate. As for their jail, which we will cross the bridge when we get there. Johnny Kujo says, tell the lawyer that when you are charging someone for perjury, the onus lies on the plaintiff to prove beyond all reasonable doubts that there is any criminal intention, because perjury is basically on the intention of the defendant. Can he categorically tell us that Jechikwesing has a criminal intention when he voluntarily applied for renunciation? Michael Afari says, the MPP man is confused. There's far different. The MPP man that was in parliament without is a Ghanaian citizen, but okay, now it's difficult to read what you sent. Take your time, type it and send it back. Champion Khaled was says, and the MPP rep says that the MP violated the law, so he may be prosecuted. My question is, the president also violated the law by sacking the Auditor General, so what should be done to the president? There's Harry Kokusepen who says a good morning to us. Says, is this Supreme Court under, okay, he's asking whether under Gedre Tokono going to toe the unanimous line. There's Judy Mensah, MPP should get it that whether they like it or not, Jechi Kwesi will represent the NDC at the by-election and win the seat. Those are just some of the messages you're sending to us. Mr. Pratt.
Well, what you're discussing is not just about elections. What you're discussing is about the law, to a very large extent, the very basis of the law, the Constitution. What we are discussing is about ethics, not politics. And what we are discussing is about strategic considerations in elections and so on. Indeed, this ought to be a mirror, pathway into the Ghanaian society. If you want to understand Ghana, look at what is happening in Assin North, and it gives you lots and lots of indications as to what Ghana really is. Now, it has been clear from the very beginning that the New Patriotic Party was going to do every and anything to secure a majority in Parliament and to use that majority to push forward its agenda. Now, from the very beginning, it was also obvious from the very beginning that the National Democratic Congress was in a hurry to hand over that majority to the NPP. Very clear. Okay. Now, after the elections, we had a hung parliament, so to speak. And it was obvious that the independent candidate in the House could tilt the balance somehow. Of course, the independent candidate had come from the New Patriotic Party and had stood as an independent candidate only because of internal, disagreements within the party and so on. So the NPP hurriedly persuaded this independent candidate or independent member of parliament to join their side. How did they do it? They did it by offering him the position of a deputy speaker of parliament. Now, if you look at the standing orders, if you look at all the regulations and so on, it was unthinkable that a deputy speaker of parliament could do some of the things that this member of parliament was allowed to do. But forget that. We have very strict rules and regulations about how we position ourselves in parliament. So, for example, if you contest elections as an independent member of parliament and you cross over, you automatically have to lose your seat. You're crossing carpet. Clear. Okay? So what happened? The Speaker of Parliament, who has his roots in the National Democratic Congress, and nobody can deny that, rather than rule, now this chap could not cross over and retain his position, now came up with a new nomenclature, strange nomenclature, majority group. Something which is not known to Parliament, just in order to make these guys defection or crossing carpet look nice and clean. And the NDC went along with it. They went along with it without question and so on. Now, when we elected a hung parliament, when we had a situation where we no longer had a majority and a minority, it was obvious that the standing orders which had been written on the basis of a majority and minority was no longer workable. And therefore, Parliament had a responsibility to write new standing orders. Now, rather than write new standing orders, the NDC agreed happily that we should go into all these maneuvers and so on to retain the old standing orders which did not recognize a hung parliament, to allow this one person independent candidate to do what he has done in parliament. NDC was partly responsible for this. Clear. Now listen to something else. The NPP is keenly aware of the fact that it has a little more than 2 years to go. It has to pass a budget. Listen to me very carefully. It has to do so many things within that 2 years. So what has the NPP done? It has postponed the election of parliamentary candidates, pushed it to the end, so that the parliamentary balance is not disturbed, so they can get their things through parliament, so that the level of disaffection in parliament is brought to the minimal level and so on. What has the NDC done? which is focused, which machinery on improving access to health, improving access to housing, improving transportation infrastructure and so on. That should be our focus. Our politics ought to be politics of ideas rather than politics of the pocket. Ideas. Ideas should be the most important thing in our politics. Ideas. What ideas do you have? How can we change this society? How can we live in a better society? So our politics has become so cheap. And you know, one of the things that really annoys me, when it rains and our cities and towns are flooded, and I see the politicians in their Wellington boots standing in the rains and taking photographs and videos, it annoys me to death. Even the disasters that our people face is seen as photo opportunities by politicians. These are our demented, crazy, foolish politicians. They see it as photo opportunity. When the people are drowning, it's a photo opportunity. They go and stand in it and take videos and display. All of this must change. And we can begin to manifest that change in Assin North. Let us begin to show that we are serious about building that Ghana that Kwame Nkrumah thought about. You know, I'm going to say something else, and then that will be my final submission. I'm sure all of us have been reading the newspapers. All of us. Because the comical display in the NPP is one thing. You see, who is picking funds for who, and how it's being done. I look at it and I laugh. As for Timothy Bawumia, no, Timothy Bawumia. Oh, it's also Bewa. Hey, so Timothy Bewa Mahmoud Bawumia. Hey, politicians. As for him, the people who went to pick the forms for him the first day, they didn't even know the rules that their own parties have set. It's a big minus. Now, you have market women picking forms. All kinds of people picking forms. What is this joke? Fishermen. Very soon, cocoyam farmers will be picking forms as well. What is this, all this joke? You know. But, you see, that is the politics our leaders think they can impose upon us. But we, the people, need to show these leaders that we are more sensible than them. And we demand that they become as sensible as we are. All of us have been reading the papers. The circus in the NPP is interesting. But have you seen the circus in the NDC? Annoying. Everybody wants to be Muhammad's running mate. If I lie, tell me. Everybody wants to be Muhammad's running mate. The other day, one newspaper published a list of 8. You have assigned by election to go and contest. You are not doing that. You have Dechi question to help to win. You are not doing that. All their guns are turned on Professor Nana Jenupoko Adjuna. They want to dislodge her and take her place. Sensible people indeed. They love their party. And that is how they express their love. Hey, Asembeni. Everybody wants to be Muhammad's running mate. They forget that it is not a competitive position. There will be no election on who becomes Muhammad's running mate. Muhammad's running mate will be chosen by Muhammad. That's what their own constitution says. They haven't even read their constitution. In any case, I'm happy that my sister is here. I heard you the last elections. You went around the country, you came to this television station to argue very, very strongly that it is now time for the Ghanaian woman, unless you have forgotten, that it is now time for the Ghanaian woman, and that your party has demonstrated abundant faith in women by selecting this professor. Now, if you change her, what would you come to say? Go and change her. If you change her and bring a man, what are you coming to tell us? That you no longer have faith in Ghanaian women?
She's from my region. I can't change her.
If your party changes her, and you being the communicator,
I will speak.
You will speak.
I doubt she will be changed. Anyway.
So you will come to tell us that you made a mistake the last time by opening the gate for Ghanaian women. And then now you see the women are useless. So you are going back to men. Come and tell us. We are here. We are waiting for you. We are waiting for... What is this? I can't believe it. And then there's a claim that Massa, if she's retained as the vice presidential candidate, the likelihood is that when Muhammad serves his 4-year term and leaves, she can become the presidential candidate. In any case, Ghanaians don't want women leaders. So plug her now and put somebody there who can carry on after Muhammad has left. What stupidity is that? What stupidity is that? Charlie, let me say one more thing, I beg. The other thing which annoys me most is this exceptionally stupid assumption that political acumen is genetically transferable. That if you are Kwame Nkrumah's son, you can become Kwame Nkrumah. If you are Nyerere's son, you have all the attributes of Nyerere. Hey, now if we are going to transfer political acumen genetically, God bless you. I wish you the best in your stupidity.
Thank you. Well, we'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Who's bringing the son?
Son, daughter.
Daughter.
How did you see?
He has labored, he has suffered to lead his people into the land of freedom. He is the Redeemer. He has
Hello, what are you doing Tuesday to Friday, 7:30 to 9 o'clock p.m. every day? You should be watching The Couch. I'll tell you why. On Tuesdays, we talk social issues, lifestyle, health, all those everyday issues that affect us in the big ways. Late Wednesdays are for book reviews. Thursdays are for the hard talk, those socio-economic, policy-oriented, political questions that demand for the tough questions to be asked. And personality profiling Fridays, when we get to know the stories behind the winning personalities we love. Inspirational story from inspirational personalities. Hey, listen, you really cannot miss The Couch with me, Amma, but still, the only TV show with a hat.
Hello, information.
But ask.
Me, I have still not got the money for that list of expensive building materials you sent to me. The price of the iron rods have been increased too much, are they?
Madam, relax. Look, that's not why I didn't call you. I just visited IPCP, where the engineers told me everything about Trasacco fast floor.
Trawanko, please, those people are expensive. Are they not the people building those big houses in town? I beg going to catch a guy.
Madam, in fact, I used to think the same until I visited their office today, and they gave me an estimate of how much it will cost. Yomo, the estimate is real. It's cheaper than the one I even sent you.
Wow.
Building contractors, foremen, masons. Visit IPCP, the Trasacco Fast Floor. Engineers will assist you build an affordable, faster and stronger building.
Oh, madam. It is done.
Trasaco Fast Floor. Stronger, faster, and affordable.
This is a Trasaco construction product.
He has labored, he has suffered to lead his people into the land of freedom. He is the Redeemer.
Until you watch us, you never go to sleep. Thank you very much for always tuning in. A few messages. This is from, I think the name is Obi, I think. So it says the people of Assin North will not sell their conscience like the people of Kumewu. Mr. James J. Chikwesing has proved to be the hope of the people of the Assin North. And sure bet, no matter what. Okay, Osei Bedan, thank you very much for sending that message. A few more that I can go through. We can move on to the next topic. This is Musa Koforidua Sentimental. Says, Senator, if waiting for any member of parliament to have an issue, either death or any critical issue, before development in that constituency, the MPP are not helping Ghanaians at all. Ghanaians are to vote them out of power come 2024, and I urge citizens of Assin North to vote massively for J. Chikwesing. Thank you very much for that message. There's this one which says, in Ghana politics has made us so foolish in that our affiliation to parties and tribes are to us more important than the sufferings we go through under a government. Domenyo sent that from Dowenya. Thank you, Domenyo. This is Achu Gams. Hi, Senator. We have a myriad of problems bedeviling politics in Ghana. One, on the part of the electorate, ignorance, entrenched ethnocentrism, readiness to accept inducements from politicians because of poverty, and 4, lack of clear, independent thinking and analysis. 2, on the part of the politicians, part is of the view that the rule of law is about themselves alone. For that matter, nobody counts. They believe in Machiavellian politics of the Middle Ages. Actually, thank you for the message. Early from Adakulu said, it is very funny somebody can be disqualified from parliament for denouncing his citizenship of another country because there's no certificate to back it up. But another person can be a president of a country without any certificate. What a country. May God have mercy. At least send that from Adakulu. This one says, my name is Ewa CI. So I tell the MPP man that they should focus on how they can borrow to save the Ghanaian economy and stop talking about Kwesi. Kwesen. Thank you. This one says, I want to make it clear to Ghanaians that the recent judgment passed on Domelevo's case is to protect the appointees of Akufo-Addo in future. They need to punish Akufo-Addo for knowing the laws and intentionally failing them. Then King Farouk in Kaswa says, Honorable James Kwesing is going back to Parliament after the June 27 by-elections. No cups of Gary and 2 Jimmy Rice votes will work for the MPP in Assin. The constituencies are wise and will show the super incompetent and vindictive MPP Bibi Kakra. Assin North for NDC. King Farouk inside Kaswa. Then this one says, should the EC not rather be held responsible if they knew he may not qualify? Why was he allowed to go through the election to the point of winning and later allowing an unnecessary by-election? The process of Kwesing was well known to the EC, while Adamu Sakandes overtook the law and the EC by surprise. Thank you for that message. There's Kwampa Razak, who says greetings. So I wanted to know who the MPP member is because it seems he's, okay, so he's ignorant of the issue at hand by claiming Joe Kwesing should be punished for perjury, as say he used may, and I used allegation among others, as his government has done in court. I've heard some MPP people comparing Joe Kwesing case to that of Adamu Sakande, but these are 2 different issues altogether. Adamu Sakande was holding 3 different countries' passport whilst in Parliament, to the extent that he traveled with some of these passports. But is that the case of Mr. Kwesing? The answer is no. So this means it is a strategy the MPP wants to use to put fear in the people of Assin North, that even if they vote for Joe Kwesing, he will still be jailed, and no one in Assin North that thinks about the betterment of the constituency will vote for Kwesing. So my plea to my beloved NDC is to find a way to explain to the people of Assin North that there is no criminal act that has been done by a candidate for them to have a clear mind going to the election on the 27th. And there's Kobe, who says, MPP are saying Honorable Jechi Kwesing will go to jail, so he shouldn't stand. Please, I want you to ask the lawyer on the show for us. The Honorable question does not stand. Will he go to jail or not? Because he, being a lawyer, has made such statement countless times when he was talking. Okay. Kobe is asking whether standing or not standing will change it if he's going to jail anyway. Mystic from Gomwawes says, there comes a time when the Ghanaian youth will become wiser than what some politicians think. On that day, the youth shall be handed over their rightful positions in society. Good morning to you people. You are doing a great job, but tell Kwesi Pratt that I'm learning his grammar. He's such a super father. She should keep it up. Mr. Pratt always denies that. So this one says, majority from Talensi constituency says, Mr. Senna, I agree with my senior comrades in your studio. The Honorable Kwesi Joe Jr. is going to lead Assin North again, no matter what the incompetent administration of Nanado Baumia will do. Greetings to my senior youth activist, Mr. Alhaji and Alhaji, my Central Regional Communications Officer, for their explicit submission this morning. When some of you only send messages, then you call me to draw my attention to the. When you call, you delay my reading of the messages, so ultimately, I will not be able to read your messages anyway. So please don't call the line. It's not we are not taking phonings. Just send a message. There are a pool of messages. Yours might be the one I read. But if you call, you delay that process. So please don't call the line. It doesn't help. We have to move on to our next issue. In case you're just joining us, the matter of what talk shows Alhaji and Alhaji. We have to do with the matter of Dr. Baumia as president of this country. He started the process. They picked forms for him. One of the people in there, I think, was Sami Oku and a former vice chairperson of the party. The two of them went to pick forms for him. He accepted the forms. He said, you feel we are expecting that there will be subsequently a press conference where he will talk about his ambitions and what he intends to do for this country. So that's the topic for discussion, and then the developments within that process. 10 minutes each would do, and then that will be our last round. So this time around, okay, let me start with Mr. Alhaji again.
Thank you. But permit me to straighten a few issues with regards to Assin North. Just a minute on that. I agree with my brother, who is a lawyer, and so I think that he would have a better appreciation of the law than myself when he talks about the Canadian law, because yes, the Canadian law is important in this matter because it determines when a person's citizenship. And you see, when I talk about this issue, I try to separate allegiance from citizenship. We must be clear about that because they are not the same. And so, as much as I think that citizenship is determined by documentation and all the processes, I disagree that allegiance must be determined through the same processes because they are not the same thing. And allegiance cannot be permanent. It cannot be forced, on a person. Even when you give birth to your own child, you cannot force loyalty on that child. And so that must be made clear. And I mean, Canadian law is not a source of law in Ghana. Our courts will not see a Canadian law as a source of law to be applied in Ghana. It may be considered as evidence. And so he knows that by procedure, that evidence must be litigated. You cannot, as a judge, go and read a foreign law and apply it and not allow the litigating parties to subject that law to litigation. And so he knows the various provisions in the Evidence Act, which gives clear indications. In the matter of Jomoro, you know that there was a matter about the Ivorian law. It had to be litigated. They had to call in expert witnesses, people who were familiar with the law, to litigate it in court. And so I was even expecting that if the Supreme Court were to interpret as they have done 94(2)(b), they should have sent the matter back for litigation at the High Court. That's my opinion. I may be, wrong. And secondly, the issue of using the criminal trial as a threat on Jachikwesi. I don't understand the head and tail of it. The matter is already at the High Court. The criminal proceedings is already at the High Court.
It has been there for a year.
Are they saying that if Jachikwesi refuses to contest, as one of your texters indicated, they are going to drop the charges against him? Are they saying Jachikwesi should bargain with them? If he's not contesting, then the Attorney General will drop the charges against him? Or whether or not he contests has nothing to do with the charges against him? And people should not, conclude on the matter. The matter is before a court. And as far as I'm concerned, the proof in foundation of the NPP. People are he battle it on the field against that, because those issues are going to come up. What for within all of this context? Use the power to back the vice president in an internal election, because in internal elections, you know, NDC have gone a certain precedent, you know, first in history. It's only the NDC that has allowed such a contest. In the NPP, I don't think you even allow that. But I don't know. But it has happened within the NDC. So the attempt that all of us belong to an organization, everybody has a right to choose who he or she wants to support. But the way that this contest has started, it appears that anybody who is an appointee in government must support Dr. Bawumia at all costs. And the attempt to remove certain people and to cow people into submission, I think is not a healthy development. The issue of Hobson Adoye, once he started showing some signs that he was going to support Alanche Martin, he was removed from office. Though I initially did not understand why he had that office in the first place. But he was removed